Hello and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, you already know we have a budget update. So I'm going to be sharing with you our numbers for the month of February and outlining exactly how much we ended up spending. And then I'm also going to be sharing our budget for March so that you can see how we plan to budget our money for the following month. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and get started. Okay, so let's have a look at February, and this is the monthly budget template that I typically use. It's something that I made myself. If this is something that you're also interested in, you can of course get that too. So it does come with a net worth statement, a sinking funds calculator, and then you've got the choice between a monthly budget template or a weekly budget template depending on how you get paid. And I've also added a US dollar version as well because I do have a few international people who are subscribed to my channel. So if you do want to check those templates out, they will be linked in the description below for you. So let's have a look at February first, and typically what I will do is I will usually run through the income, the savings, the essential bills, and all the sinking funds in the previous budget update. So if you're new to my channel and you haven't watched that video, make sure you do check that out. I'll link it up here for you and in the description below. So these pretty much will all get paid out automatically. What we will typically track is our general spending. So let's have a look and see what happened in the month of February and whether we went under budget or over budget. Okay, so moving over to our spending. Now, in terms of how we track our spending, if you didn't know or you're completely new to my channel, I will typically do this on our Monzo account. It actually tracks it for us. I will leave a referral link in the description below if you do want to check that out. But that's essentially how we track it. Of course, you can use any other budgeting app to track your spending, but the reason why we do this is because we want to have a good idea to know, okay, this is how much we ended up spending. Do we want to tweak or change it when it comes to setting our budget for the next month? So when it comes to spending, let's first have a look at transport. We had an original budget of 120 for the month of February, and for transport we actually went over on this category. We ended up spending 135 instead, and it wasn't really because of gas prices, so petrol prices. It wasn't really because of that. It was because we ended up having to take more public transport than anticipated that month, so we ended up going over slightly. So yeah, 135 instead of 120. Let's have a look at groceries. We originally had a budget of 250 and we wanted to spend around 50 a week on groceries. This month was a little bit different because we were actually budgeting for 5 weeks instead, hence why we wanted to spend about 50 a week. So in terms of February, we ended up going slightly over on this category as well. Instead of 250, we ended up spending 257. So just slightly over, maybe not just slightly, a bit over when it came to groceries. Moving over to toiletries, we had an original budget of 40, but for toiletries this time we went under, which we usually do go under, to be honest, and instead of 40 we ended up spending 31. So that definitely helped when it came to the budget. We've then got our individual spending, so we allocated 100 each, and that's for our own individual spending. We can spend it on pretty much anything and everything. I personally did not spend as much. I did actually have some money left over. I think I had about 30 over, and that's mainly because I didn't go out as much during the month of February because it was cold. It was cold. I don't like to go out when it's cold, although there were some days where it was actually quite warm, which was weird, especially for February. But yeah, that's basically what happened to my spending. I never know how much my husband spends, but typically he won't really spend very much. He likes to save a lot of his money. Let's move to personal care, and we had a budget for 30. We did indeed end up spending 30 for personal care. For date night, that also includes takeout. We had a budget of 95, but we ended up going slightly under. We spent 91 instead of 95. Then we've got our gym membership, so that's a direct debit. It's $42.98. Disney Plus we are not currently paying for because we have an annual subscription. Miscellaneous, we had an original budget of 40, and this time we went under. We ended up spending only 28 instead of 40. And if we move over to my husband's rugby games, that's 45, so that's just a bank transfer. Dance as well is just a bank transfer, that's 30. And then we had some loose change. Whenever we do have any loose change, we will essentially add that to a little pot and let that grow over time. So in terms of our spending, we actually did pretty well this month. We were under budget, just under, and so we will carry that over, although it's a really small amount, but we will carry the rest of that money towards our March budget. But I think when it came to February, it was pretty much a decent month. So let's have a look at March and see how we plan on budgeting our money for that month. Moving over to March, we have our underspend from February, and we've taken that and put that in our budget. Then we have our total income coming in. So we have our income coming in from my husband and myself. We just keep it private because obviously it's not just my income, it is also my husband's. But that is the only money we used to budget for the month of March. So let's see how we plan on saving, paying our bills, and all of that other good stuff. So moving over to savings and investments, majority of our money is going to be going towards savings this year. And I do actually have a video on how we plan to save in 2024 if you are looking to also save money this year. So make sure you check that out. I'll leave it up here for you and in the description below. But in our case, for the month of March, we are putting 1180 into our savings. And then we also have 50 each going into our investment accounts. So for this month, we have a total of 1,280 going towards our savings. Part of me really just wants to round that up to 1,300. I did, but then when I was doing the budget, it didn't work. So it's 1,280 for now, but I'm hoping maybe from next month we can like push that up to 1,300 because I like the round numbers. Very random, but I do. Moving over to our essential bills, we have got rent that we're currently paying, which is $11.50. Our water bill is currently $52. However, my husband informed me that we recently got a letter to let us know that our water bill will be going up from next month. So it's probably going to be more than that. I'm not sure how much it's going to increase by. Hopefully it's not that much, but you know, inflation is still here, so I'm really not surprised. But anyway, moving on, we have got electricity and gas, so that's 117. I know that the price cap has also changed as well, so maybe they'll decrease our bills and that will help with our water bill going up. So hopefully it kind of cancels each other out. Not too sure, but we'll see. We've got council tax, that's 136. Again, not sure if that's going to increase soon because I've been hearing some stories about some councils are increasing their council tax. So fingers crossed ours doesn't, but we'll see. Broadband is 26. My husband's iCloud is 99p. We've got our SIM only contract. So for my husband, it's 12 a month, mine is 10 a month. And if you are from the UK, we do use Voxy, and that does come with endless social media data. So if you are interested, I will leave a referral link in the description below if you want to check out Voxy too. Then we've also got TV license, which is $13.25. And then of course, we've got our tithes, charity and giving. Giving is really important to us as Christians. So we will always give a proportion of our income, no matter what the economy is doing, no matter what the circumstances are. So that is essential to us, hence why it is under essential bills. Then we've got our sinking funds. So these are basically just expenses that you potentially want to save up for over time rather than just paying them straight out of your paycheck. So we've got a few sinking funds. The first one is car. So that's any car maintenance. We put that towards things like insurance, road coverage, fixing the tires, getting new car mats like we have to do this month, anything like that. That's what our car sinking fund is for. So we are setting aside 50 for that. We've also got another 10 going towards dentist appointments. So that's something that we also have a sinking fund for. We've got my husband's rugby registration. So that's something that we also put money for, and that's 10. We've got 15 going towards a clothes fund. We've got another 15 going towards a present presents fund, so any presents that we want to buy. We've got another 10 going into a skincare fund, and then we also have another 40 going towards a wedding fund this year because we do have a few weddings. So in terms of our sinking funds, our total comes to about 150 for the month of March. Now let's have a look at our general spending. So for transport, I have left this as 120. Although we did go over last month, obviously we didn't realize we would be going on public transport that much. So I don't anticipate that we will be doing the same thing for this month. So I've left it as 120. Obviously, if we then end up going over again, I will probably change that next month. But let's see what happens with transport. I've left it as 120. For groceries, so before I would have set a budget for 200, but because we went over last month, I've put 205 just to make sure that it's okay. Hopefully that is enough because I'm honestly tired of increasing the groceries budget again and again because food prices keep increasing. I'm really hoping that this is the last time. We'll see. Toiletries, we've got 40, so that hasn't changed. Our individual spending remains at 100. We've also got personal care that remains as 30. Date night is the same as last month, so that's 95. We've got our gym memberships. Again, those are direct debit, so that's $42.98. We're not paying anything for Disney Plus because we've got an annual subscription. Miscellaneous, we have left as 40 for this month. We've got my husband's rugby games again at 30. My dance classes are 30 as well. We've also got a family meal this month, which is a bit different. So we have decided to allocate some money separate for that in our spending, and that's 45. And then we had some loose change over. So again, we added that to our pennies pot. So for the month of March, we are looking to spend around 878. It's slightly more than usual, probably because we've got that family meal included, but I'm hoping this budget will still be good for the month of March. Now, in one-on-one coaching, I actually help my clients create a budget that works for them so that they're able to save a lot more money. It doesn't have to be a spreadsheet like this. Some of my clients have even decided to experiment using cash. It's really based on what works for you. So if you are someone who definitely wants to save a lot more money this year, but you maybe need some help, especially when it comes to creating that budget and sticking to that budget, make sure you book a call with me to find out more about one-on-one coaching and how I can help you create that budget so that you can save a lot more money this year. So I'll leave a link up here for you and in the description below. But yeah, I'm pretty much happy with how the budget went for February, and I'm hoping March will be the same. So if you did like this video, then please do give me a thumbs up if you haven't already, and let me know in the comments, how did your budget go for the month of February? I do post every Sunday, so if you would like to know more, then of course you can subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next week.